Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. I'm really thankful that you're here. My name is Marissa and welcome to my channel. But anyway, today I wanted to talk you guys through all of the books that I read in 2018. I do have quite a stack to get through, so I'm very excited to share with you guys everything that I read last year and my goals for this year and for last year. But before we get started, please leave a comment down below telling me what your favorite book was of 2018 and what you are most excited to read for 2019, because I love getting recommendations from people on books that you enjoyed, and I hope that you guys enjoy my recommendations as well. So anyway, without further ado, let's get on to the first book. So essentially in 2018, my goal was to read 12 books, and I actually doubled that number and read 24, and I was super excited because when I was in college, all I really did was study. I didn't really have time to read when I was like a huge bookworm in like elementary school and middle school, and the same thing in high school because I was in the IB program, so I really did not have a lot of time to read. I was studying all the time, doing a lot of homework and things like that. So I was really thankful my first year after graduating college that I had time to read these books, and I'm so excited for 2019 and everything that I'm going to accomplish this year. So I'm very excited. But anyway, so the first book that I read in 2018 was The Wedding by Nicholas Sparks. So basically the premise of this book is it takes place after The Notebook with Allie and Noah's daughter Jane and her marriage to her husband, and it's very interesting because I read it before I got married in 2018, and I really enjoyed it because I loved seeing like the hardships of their marriage, and like after, I think they were married for like 40 years or something. I'm not 100% sure, maybe 30, but it was interesting to see from that perspective like the hardships of marriage and like making it work even after like you feel like quitting, and I just really enjoyed it. The only complaints I have about this book is it was a little slow. It took me a little while to get through it, and also it was kind of predictable at the end. I kind of knew what was happening, but there is like a twist. So if you're not good at predicting, you might not know what's happening, but if you are good at predicting, you might understand what's happening, if that makes sense. But it was such a sweet book. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I would definitely recommend if you're a Nicholas Sparks fan, and it's just a very sweet, loving book, probably perfect for Valentine's Day. Yay! So the next book that I read in 2018 was Cream Puff Murder by Joanne Fluke, and this book, so I found this book in Goodwill. You can see some dog ate it like before I got it. There's a little bit of damage, but this book sparked my love for Joanne Fluke and Hannah Swensen and the Murder She Baked series. I literally loved it so much. So if you haven't watched my videos before and you haven't heard me talk about Hannah Swensen like 2,000 million times, she is a baker who lives in Lake Eden, Minnesota, and she solves mysteries as well. But I really enjoyed this book in particular. It was probably my favorite book of 2018 because it's all about like Hannah's body confidence and about her trying to lose weight, but I don't know, I found comfort in it because there's like one quote in particular where like her sister calls her to be like, how's your diet going? And she's like, oh yeah, like I just had some lean beef today with like some I can't remember what she said. I had some lean beef today with some cheese or something like that, but she didn't tell her that she was having like garlic nuts and the beef was on a pizza. So I really enjoyed that because this year was all about body confidence for me with getting married, and just learning to accept my body for what it is, which I will probably do another video on in the future because I'm really all about body positivity and body confidence. But anyway, this book was just amazing. I don't think I predicted who the murderer was. It was slightly cheesy at the end, but that's okay. Some of the Hannah Swensen books are a little cheesy, but I still really enjoy them. They're just like really good cozy mysteries to like cuddle up in bed with, and I just never want to put them down, and I love them so much. And with that, I'm going to quickly go through all the other Hannah Swensen books that I read this year because I read quite a few. So after I read Cream Puff Murder, I kind of continued in that order from Cream Puff Murder and on to the end of the series, or where it currently is right now because there is more books coming out. And then I went back and I started from book 1, which is another thing I really love about this series, is you can kind of read any book in the series and there's like some stuff going on like in the story, but you can still read one book and understand what's going on, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. So I'm not going to go in order because there's no way I can remember the order of all of these books, but I also read Red Velvet Cupcake Murder. Super good, very predictable. I'm pretty sure this was not one of my favorites, but I love the recipes in this book and I love the story. So even if it was predictable, I still loved it. Devil's Food Cake Murder, Cinnamon Roll Murder. These started like the very, very intense books with Hannah getting married and everything happening with her husband, and this was the point that I started getting super addicted to the series, was Cinnamon Roll Murder, and then I think this one was next, the Devil's Food Cake Murder. Super, super good, and the story just gets so intense, and I'm so excited for the new one to come out because the story is crazy right now. So I read The Apple Turnover Murder. This one was really good. Predictable in one sense, but not predictable in a sense that I knew who the murderer was, if that makes any sense. But this one was also one of my favorites. Super, super good. This one is really thick because I accidentally bought the big print from Amazon because it was a used copy. I just wanted the cheapest one, so this one is freaking huge, but it was so good. And then I have the Double Fudge Brownie Murder, which is, I think this one is before Wedding Cake Murder, which I'm about to talk about. This one was also very wonderful, super good. And then Banana Cream Pie Murder. This one was probably one of my favorites as well. Guys, I'm like so lost with where I am in the series. I just have all these books laying here. I probably should have organized myself before I started this video, but I love the Hannah Swensen murders, mysteries. That's all I really have to say, right? And then these were the other two that went with Hannah's wedding and with, there's some dust flying around me, and with that whole storyline. So Blackberry Pie Murder, also super, super good. This one is about Dolores' wedding. Cute. This one, so good. Not only is Hannah getting married, but she's also in a baking competition. I love this one. It was so good. Could read 10 more times. Wedding Cake Murder. And then the last one in the series was Raspberry Danish Murder, which is the last one in the storyline before the new one comes out in February, right by the time of my birthday, so I'm very excited for that. But so Raspberry Danish Murder was when it gets super, super intense. Joanne Fluke leaves so many cliffhangers. It is not even funny. That just makes you want to get the new copy so bad, which is why I'm desperate to get it once February comes. I'm probably going to pre-order it very, very soon because I just want it to be on my door as soon as it comes out. But Raspberry Danish Murder, incredible. I really loved it. When I was on Instagram looking at pictures of the Hannah Swensen series, like hashtag, people were saying they didn't like this book, and I don't know how, because it was like, it's hard to give away like why it was so what's the word, why it was so intense without giving away the storyline. But just trust me when I say it's intense, guys, but in a good way. Keeps you on the edge of your seat. So then I went back to the beginning and I started reading Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder, which is the first book in the series. Loved it. I loved starting from the beginning, kind of getting the background on the characters, and I'm still working my way back to Cream Puff Murder now. But I also read Blueberry Muffin Murder and Strawberry Shortcake Murder. These come after Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder. So these were super good as well. I loved them. Super cute, super good. I love seeing the characters before. Since I worked my way from like, I think book 8 or something all the way to the end, and then going back to the beginning. And then I also read Plum-Pudding Murder. This one was somewhere after Cream Puff Murder. Again, they don't really have to be in order for you to read them. I kind of went from Cream Puff Murder to the end and then started at the beginning, but I really, really loved it. This one was really good. This one has my favorite recipe that I have made from Hannah Swensen so far, which is the triple chocolate cheesecake pie, I think is what it's called. I'll link it down in the description box or tag it at the end of this video because that one was the most delicious recipe I've tried, and I did record it for you guys on YouTube if you want to check it out. And then, so there are a couple books in the Hannah Swensen series that are Hannah Swensen mysteries, but they're not a part of the story. So basically, like with the other books, there's like an integral theme running through, there's like a storyline happening, but like I said, they kind of recap, so it's not like if you start in the middle you're kind of missing anything. But there are some books that are just kind of like random mysteries that are thrown in there. So this is one that I read, Gingerbread Cookie Murder. This book actually has 3 books inside of it. So there's the Gingerbread Cookie Murder, The Dangers of Gingerbread Cookies by Laura Levine, and Gingerbread Cookies and Gunshots by Leslie Meyer. I really loved all of these. I definitely think I want to read more of Leslie Meyer's stories because that story was very, very intense about a child abduction, which was a little bit more intense than I had ever read with the Hannah Swensen series, I guess. But and then the Laura Levine book was pretty good as well. It wasn't my favorite, I have to be completely honest with you guys, but I definitely think it was a good one for Christmas. I really love Christmas books. They just like fill you with the spirit of the season. And then of course Gingerbread Cookie Murder, which is like the main reason why I got this book, was awesome as well because I just love Hannah Swensen. I love her Christmas books and I love the Christmas recipes. I just forgot to mention that Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder also was 2 books in one. So at the end of the book, it has a book called Candy for Christmas, which I loved because it was a Hannah Swensen book that wasn't a murder mystery. And so I thought that was really cool to kind of see another side of Lake Eden and see another story that was happening that wasn't essentially a murder. And it was really cute. It's basically about, I'm trying to say it without spoiling anything, about a homeless person who spends the night in Hannah's shop and cleans up for her and makes her candy, and her basically trying to find out who this person is and why she's staying in her shop. So I really enjoyed it. Then the last 2 Hannah Swensens I read in 2018. So this one Nala so generously ripped apart before I filmed this video, but this one is The Christmas Caramel Murder by Joanne Fluke, obviously. And this one was super, super good. I really, really liked it. It kind of has like a Christmas Carol theme with like the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. I really, really enjoyed it. Again, Hannah Swensen, Christmas, you can't really go wrong. I really, really liked it. And I wish I could show you the cover, but I can't. So here's the side because Nala ripped it up. But I really like this one as well. And then the last Hannah Swensen mystery I read in 2018 was Christmas Cake Murder by Joanne Fluke. And this one I actually got a signed copy from the Barnes & Noble Black Friday sale. So cute. I really, really like this one. This one goes all the way back to before Hannah Swensen has a bakery and before she's solving murders. And it's really cute because you get to see how she got the money for her bakery, and it takes place right after her father died, so it's really, really cute to see all the other characters. And her sister Andrea hasn't even had her first child yet. She's pregnant, so it's really cute. It goes a little bit further back than the first book, but I loved seeing like the behind the scenes, and it was just amazing, so I loved it. And then next I have the last 3 books that are non-Hannah Swensen mysteries. So the first book I read was Beowulf because I wanted to read some classics. This one was really cute. I don't know why I said cute. It's not really cute. It's like about war and stuff. But I did really enjoy it. I won't say that I will read it again. It's just a little bit long. It's a little bit hard to read because obviously it's like Old English, not like old English, but kind of Old English, so it's like a little bit different, but I did really enjoy it. I enjoy like the chivalry and the adventure, and I thought it was cool to read such a classic, and I liked it. That's pretty much all I could say about this book. Okay, the next book is 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith. I loved this book, honestly. I'm pretty sure it's like a middle school age book. Like there's like pictures in it and stuff. Let me see if I can find one. Oh yeah, here's one. There's like pictures in it, but I literally loved it. And I read it, I think, right after I got Nala in like February or March. No, actually I didn't. I think I read it when I came back from my honeymoon, so in like March or April. Oh, my phone's ringing. Hang on one second. Hey. I'm just filming my video. Thanks for the story. Alright, I love you. Bye. Anyway, so yeah, this one I read after I got Nala, and it was so sweet. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's pretty similar. Some of the names are changed, and there's like some new characters, some different characters as well. But same concept, like the puppies get taken by Cruella de Vil. Pongo and his wife, which is, her name is the Mrs. in this book, it's not Perdita, but they go to find the puppies. But I really liked it because you kind of get more of the background story than you do in like the Disney movies, where like they get helped by all these dogs on the way and they are like staying in these barns, and how they escape from Cruella de Vil is a little bit different in the movies and the book. But I just loved it. I thought it was so sweet. I want to read it with my kids one day because I thought it was just so precious. And it also talks about Cruella de Vil's cat, which I don't think you get to hear much about in the movie, but that was super cute as well. I highly recommend this book. Great to read with some kids, but also by yourself. And it doesn't really take that long because it's like, I think it's like 200 pages with pretty big font. Yeah, 177 I think. Super easy, super cute, loved it. Very grateful that I picked it up at Goodwill. Okay, but this book is called A Beginner's Guide to Changing the World by Isabel Lozada. I loved this book. That's all I can say about it. I'm filming this video and then I'm going to be shipping this book off to my sister because I really want her to read it. It's so... Thanks, Nala. It's so good. It's nonfiction. One of the only nonfictions that I read this year, but it was amazing. It's basically a story about a woman who is the author, and she basically finds out about the crisis in Tibet, which if you don't know a lot about, you will if you read this book, because I honestly did not know anything about this until I read this book, which makes me feel kind of ashamed that I didn't really know what was happening. But I'm really thankful that I read it because now I am aware of what's happening and I can be a speaker for change with Tibet and the Tibet crisis. But anyway, she finds out about what's happening in Tibet and she goes to Tibet actually, and I don't want to spoil the ending, but the ending is amazing. And that's all I'm gonna say about the ending. But it was so wonderful. Isabel Lozada is hilarious in this book, and I liked how she paired like truth and kind of some of the darker parts of Tibet and China, talking about that with her humor, not like making fun of the situation, but like describing the situation in a way that was humorous. I don't really know how to say it. Like, she doesn't do it disrespectfully, but like, for example, there was one scene where she was talking to this girl, and this girl worked at a Tibet organization, and so they didn't have a lot of money, and she gave her like a tea in like a cup with like no handle, and so Isabel Lozada was like holding it and it was burning her fingers, and she was like, I forget exactly how she said it, it's not gonna be as funny when I say it because I'm not that funny, but she's basically like, once it got to the point where my fingers were scalding off, I had to ask her for somewhere to put it. I don't know, it doesn't sound that funny, but if that makes sense, like, she's not making fun of the situation, but she adds her humor into little bits throughout the story, which I thought was really nice. And it was just really interesting to read. The only complaint to have about it is my personal fault, because it took me a while to read, because I didn't know about the Tibet crisis and what was happening in Tibet. And so there are a lot of parts that I went back and I read over again, and kind of like reflected on, I guess. So that's why it took me a little bit longer to get through it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really, really sweet. And if you live in the UK, this book is actually called To Tibet, A Love Story, or To Tibet with Love, I believe, by Isabella Zada. She told me that because she commented on my Instagram picture, and I felt so blessed. But I definitely recommend. So good. Again, I picked up this book in Goodwill. It's one of my favorite places to find books, and it was just very, very great. Anyway guys, that is all of the books that I read for 2018. Let me know down below if you read any of those books, or if you have any suggestions for me, like I said at the beginning, and what you are going to be reading for 2019. And I hope that you guys and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video so much, and I will see you on Thursday with a vlog. Bye! Okay, and then I have like this piece of hair on my, by the way, this is my scar. If you didn't know I had one right in the middle of my forehead. Fun fact for the day.